My fundamental beliefs are multidimensional, especially when I describe them incorporated with my philosophy in the world of art. I believe that I have a very holistic approach to things in general, apart from making art, which I see as being a meditation for myself. I am a meditator, and it's been a very core activity of mine for around about 35 years. It's been really important for me. And I try to bring this into the work that I do. And in a lot of ways, it's not surprising for me that I've stumbled across or stumbled into a role as an artist of being an environmental artist, where my main concerns are about the environment. And this has extended into working with plastics that wash up on the beaches, largely collected by myself in Australia, along Australia's beaches. I live in Byron Bay in Australia, and I collect from the beaches around there, and also from many other locations where I visit regularly, including Magnetic Island up on the north of Queensland, and other locations around Australia. And also I've been to China and I've collected plastics from those beaches. In Europe I've collected beaches from the Dutch coast and also from Indonesia and other places as well. It's a global phenomenon, and it's something that I enjoy doing. A little anecdote here. I remember giving a talk at the Washington Embassy many years ago, back in 1999, when I was having an exhibition there, and I was speaking to a big audience. There were hundreds of people in the audience, and they were at an ocean symposium. And here was I coming on stage with my story about collecting plastics from beaches. And I was saying, oh, I get really excited when I see a yellow piece over here and a red piece over here. And the audience were kind of looking a little bit like, they were a bit in awe. Here's this guy getting so excited to see all these plastics on the beach. And I explained to them that this was forming my palette for the art that I was making, and that I got a great amount of joy from walking away from these beaches and seeing that they were pristine at the end after I'd cleaned them up. And this has been a lifelong journey ever since, because I'm talking probably, it's about 25 years ago I first started working with, more than that now, 28 years ago, when I first started working with plastics, when I stumbled across them on a remote beach in Victoria. And I guess, coming back to the fact that it's an organic kind of process, and it's always been like that in my studio, where I trust in this process orientation in the studio, one thing leading to another, that rather than just throw these plastics away or even leave them on the beach when I first started collecting them 25 years ago or however long, I actually decided to start using them in my art. And that was a very exciting thing for me. It was just something that was very organic, it was there, it was somehow or other, it seemed natural for me to actually start making art from these objects that I saw on the beaches. And it became part of my signature, I suppose, part of what I became known as being an environmental artist, because of my concern for the environment and the concern that was showing. I was approached by a number of colleagues in the United Kingdom to begin the process of vision for a project. And I said I'd love to be part of it. And based on where I was going with my work at the particular time, which was about 2.5 years ago, I was very involved with the creation of artworks which featured the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. So my vision naturally went there. And to make it a reality, I needed to have a vision which encompassed a wide view of where this expression could go. And I ended up deciding that the best way that I could do this would be to incorporate all of the artworks of my career, or at least, I should say, the key selections from my career, which ended up being, funnily enough, 888 artworks, to be surrounded by a further number of artworks in the ocean area around the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which would end up being a total of 2,450 works. The GPGP project is a transformative initiative that merges art, environmental activism, blockchain technology and multimedia technologies to combat marine plastic pollution. There are a number of different elements that this whole project has incorporated. One of them is art and digital integration, blending physical and digital realms to engage a wider audience. The second one is embracing diversity, involving artists, educators, innovators and influential voices from diverse creative industries. The third one is immersive educational experiences, creating enlightening and uplifting exhibitions to raise awareness about plastic pollution. The fourth one is inspiring collective action, encouraging individuals, communities and organisations to take meaningful steps towards combating plastic pollution and driving positive environmental change. The fifth one is the Indigenous community embracement, and that is the marine litter is affecting not only the life under the water, but the Indigenous community from the Pacific region. I believe that art can play a really strong role in inspiring change and promoting environmental conservation. I'm cautious to say how much, because everything has its limitations. However, I believe that the more that we expose art that has positive messages about care for the environment, care for the planet, essentially caring for ourselves as well, will have the impact. And people will see it and appreciate it, and hopefully transformation will take place that way. I know that I've had the experience where people have seen my work and come away from having seen an exhibition or having viewed something in my studio or read something in a book or a magazine, and have said to me that their experience of walking the beaches is completely transformed. And that for me is quite profound. That's a really important change and a shift in perception, a shift in consciousness. And if I've contributed to that, then I think it's a really good thing. And if this type of art helps to contribute to that, then I believe it's a wonderful thing. I believe that the exhibition of 888 tiles will raise awareness about plastic pollution and its impact on our oceans, simply because of the title, The Great Pacific Garbage Patch. It's really getting the viewers in that direction of looking at what's happening in the Pacific Ocean with what the Gaias are doing, and that is collecting all of these plastics into an area where, because of the currents of the ocean, the plastics don't go anywhere except stay in that area there and eventually begin to sink, and in some cases disintegrate and become part of the food chain, because the fish are eating these objects, and then humans are eating fish, and it's cancerous, and the story goes on and on and on. And hopefully we can bring about a change. My essential difference is that I want to bring about positivity change. I want to bring about a shift in awareness where people feel inspired through seeing creativity, that they can go, oh, this can be a positive thing, but we can actually bring about some change here. This artwork is not about telling people that they're doing something wrong, or it's more about inspiring positivity, that really good things can happen with the way that we treat our environment. I envision art as a catalyst for positive change. This recycled art raises awareness, and it inspires a shift towards environmental consciousness and creativity. How this project began, I had a vision that I wanted to have a work focusing on the Great Pacific Garbage Patch in the Pacific Ocean. That extended later to an invitation to artists, emerging artists, Pacific Rim communities, including Indigenous communities, to contribute artworks towards this creation. And it was very organic how it began. I started by just inserting my own artworks into the garbage patch area, and each of these artworks were placed on an assemblage of various plastics, images of the particular work, make it more obvious. I won't go too much into the description of that at the moment because it's quite complicated, but there are 1,562 artworks that we're inviting for this project that I want to involve in this. So it's really a global action. And the type of artistic submissions that I'm looking for are works of a high caliber. I want them to be really good quality, and that doesn't mean that they have to be necessarily one particular style of artwork or another. However, I just want them to have certain concerns in them, and one of them is there's a commitment to excellence in the creation of the work, because that's very important for me. Aesthetics is very important for me, and it's very easy to make very blunt statements about the environment using materials such as plastics that wash up or rubbish, or etc., etc. And I'm happy for artists who are making environmental works or works that have strong social statements to submit their works, and we'll see whether they fit into the bigger picture of this project. There shouldn't be too many elements that are restricting people's involvement in it. The main thing, again, is I just want the works that we choose for the remaining area around my 888 works that form the central area of this artwork. So the 1,562 tiles that are going to be around the area, I want them to be of the similar quality, so that the whole work sings a level of excellence. And this is really what's important for me with this project, and with overseeing and helping to, I guess, curate the quality of the artwork. With projects like this, fundraising is very crucial for projects of this scale. I've been looking at a number of different possibilities with my project team in London, and there are so many different opportunities available and initiatives planned for the project. And these are varied in nature, but some of them range from different levels of contribution and investment opportunities. Some of these I can even speak to you about here in a very clear way, because I've got some documentation about it that might help with some of the sponsorship opportunities. We've got a title sponsor, that's the highest visibility with exclusive benefits, a platinum sponsor, a gold sponsor, and silver sponsor. And these are all different levels that people can actually come into the project and invest into, and they will receive a very tangible benefit from those different levels, particularly with all levels, but particularly the title sponsor. And let me just speak a little bit about this. These contributions revolve around the overarching theme of sustainability and combating plastic pollution. There's opportunities really for businesses and for individuals to amplify their brand's impact on social justice, and also musical empowerment by utilising digital soundtracks, videos, games and more to enrich the exhibition experience. There's so many different layering that we're bringing into this particular project, where the invitation to partners and creators to contribute their digital expertise is really vast as well. As I've mentioned previously, there's so many different layers to the project, and for financial investors, for creative investors as well, there's so many different things. There's an expanded reach through digital integration and meaningful collaborations where people are able to expand their global reach and influence and brand awareness. And the digital contributions will continually expand and enhance the artworks over time. So it's a growing phenomenon, this one here. And there's also intended to be embedded QR codes and hover points for exploring the artworks and their themes. So these are also creating other opportunities that are inherent in the actual artwork and in individual artworks. And we're looking at 2,450 artworks, so there's a lot of opportunities in there, as well as an overall bigger picture opportunity to be part of this. It's very exciting. The invitation is out there to individuals, to business, even to governments as well, to be involved in this project. And I think that this is probably something that's not going to be limited to a small amount of time. It is most probably going to be a project that goes over a number of years, possibly even a decade. They can partner financially, they can partner by creatively. We've already spoken to many, many people, artists, musicians, actors, so many different other creatives that want to come to the party and be part of this project because it has a very strong, positive message to be shared out there, and they want to be part of it, and it's understandably so. But that doesn't limit it to only creatives. Big business can be involved in it, small business can be involved in this, governments can be involved in it. We've got logistics to look at, we've got promotions to look at, we've got outreach and things like this. We're going to be working a lot with Indigenous communities. We've already made contact with many people who are very connected with Indigenous communities around the Pacific Rim. And that's a vast area, and it includes so many different countries and peoples, and this is something that we're very keen to embrace and to encourage, and I believe that it's going to have an incredible impact on those communities and also on this project here, to have these communities and to have these individuals and organisations involved, supporting it and developing it and covering all of the different aspects that are going to be involved in, I guess, the manifestation of this wonderful creative output. There's a number of different levels that we go to with this. There's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. There's so many different levels, and I could go through all of my documentation here and probably find all of the different points to cover some of these things. However, it's not really that important at the moment. It's just what I would like to mention is that there are so many wonderful opportunities there, wonderful opportunities to be involved, to get involved, and everybody has something that they can contribute. We have a website that has a very comprehensive way of getting in contact with us to express your interest in being part of the project, and it's very simple. Just fill in the details of what it is that you have to offer, what it is that you'd like to get from being involved in the project, and how you feel that you can contribute. And just send your details to us. It might be an artist who's saying that they would like to contribute one of their artworks, or even 10 of their artworks for consideration. It might be a company that wants to advertise the fact that they're involved with such a sustainable and positive initiative. It might be a government that wants to be involved in this and contribute one way or another. It might be an airline that wants to help with the covering of some flights to various locations. There are so many possibilities. It could be some accommodations. It could be a hotel chain. Who knows? The invitation is vast. It's there for so many people to get involved in, and it can be right down to the very grassroots level. And that's what we're looking for on all levels. And go to the website, the GPGP website, and let us know what you'd like to do and be involved. It will continue to evolve, and I believe it will have a lasting impact on plastic pollution awareness and hopefully on the cleanup efforts, which I'm anticipating will end up being at the source, where it's actually coming from, that enters the ocean, rather than the clean up the ocean itself. That's important, of course, but we need to get to the source. And hopefully projects like this one here, and there are so many projects out there at the moment emphasizing global ocean pollution and the need to take care. And there are wonderful, wonderful initiatives out there at the moment, and they're vast. And hopefully this ongoing project can really help with that. Let me just read a few things that I have from the marketing materials about the GPGP project. And this is beyond the exhibition walls. The whole initiative goes beyond the exhibition, creating a lasting impact on our environment. A number of points I'd like to cover with answering this question is that the expanding educational engagement through the collaborations with institutions, workshops, and the campaign will continue. It's just the beginning. Connecting with communities, schools, colleges, and universities to offer innovative educational initiatives. Amplifying emerging artists' voices by empowering them through physical and digital platforms by being part of this project. Driving impactful change with the use of ecologically sustainable blockchain technology, NFTs, and impactful campaigns. And creating awareness to the general public about the garbage patch and its effects on the Indigenous community. These are just some of the ones where beyond the exhibition walls and beyond the digital walls, we will be creating an ongoing impact. Andy Warhol also made another statement at one stage, which I think is really appropriate here. They always say time changes things, but you actually have to change them yourself. And I believe that this is really important, and I know that this is really true for myself as an environmental artist, that I've become more and more conscious of as time goes by. I might have accidentally stepped into the role of being an environmental artist simply because I didn't intend that. It just happened during the process of my working. I think that there's a lot of positivity that can come just through an organic process of working in the studio and working as an artist and letting things evolve. Hopefully that helps. Get involved. Send us an email, go onto the website and actually register your interest, because there are so many different ways to be involved. You don't need to be an artist, you don't need to be a politician, you don't need to be running a major corporation. Just if you feel that this touches you in some way, it might be intellectually it touches you, it might be from your heart it touches you, it might be just because it inspires something about creativity inside you, or care about yourself, about the environment, about social issues, about your children's future. It might be just something that just rings a bell for you, and you go, I want to be involved in this thing. I really want to somehow or other contribute whatever way I can. I want to be involved in this thing. I want to contribute in whatever way I can. And if I do that, then I'm going to help to make the planet a little bit better. And I think that that's just something that I've always seen as being important, is to walk gently on this planet and to hopefully leave it better than what I found it in some way or another. And this is why I find it's really important to add something creative to the message about plastic waste, particularly in our oceans, because I think it's really important for people to have this positive viewpoint from an artist who's working with these materials, to see that it's possible to transform things in a way that ignites inspiration for people. And that's important for me. I think it can empower change. I believe in the power of art. I believe in creativity and collaboration, and how it has the opportunity of driving positive change. I believe that by forging connections between creativity, collaboration, and our shared responsibility for the planet, we strive to create a sustainable future that inspires generations to come. And if our involvement ends up being that we're able to help to make meals for a bunch of Indigenous artists who are creating some artworks for this project, then that's a great contribution. And I'm a firm believer in that there is no difference between one act or another when it comes to being collaborative with a project like this. I see my work when I go and collect plastics on the beaches in order to bring them back to my studio to make artworks that will end up in an exhibition, and then I'll end up going to the opening and maybe doing a speech, for example. It's all the same thing. It's all part of the same process. It's all a contribution, and it's equal. There's nothing special about one thing or another. Sure, we have exciting times in the studio where we're creating artworks and we lose track of time, and there might be 4 hours, 6 hours goes by, and we wonder, where did that time go? Because we were so much in the zone, a little bit like a long distance runner. And this is really exciting times, but it doesn't make it special. It doesn't make it more important than any of the other parts of it, than actually going onto the beach and collecting each of these pieces of plastic that make up the thousands and thousands of pieces that go into these artworks. It doesn't make it any more important or diminish in any way anybody else's contribution to this project. It's all one, and I do believe this as an essential part of my life, I guess, a very important part of the organic nature of what I believe life to be, and that is we are all one. And this project, I believe, is an invitation for everybody to join in this, and let's do it as one.